there's a bear needs drinking, some long neck bottles need clinging. I got some pop top since 5 o'clock, and I know you know what I'm thinking. There's a line needs a wedding, and some problems that need forgetting. It's a raise your glass and tip it on back kind of weekend. 'Cause there's a bear who needs drinking, and there's a bear who needs drinking.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any more exciting here in the world center of racing at Daytona, we of course just got done with the virtual and real life 24 of Daytonas. Well, it's time to crack open a cold one as Grid Vision proudly presents the 24 Beers of Daytona, a Thunderclap exhibition event live here as we get set to kick off an amazing over 6 hours of coverage all throughout this weekend, and we are looking forward to it. Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Burris. Alongside me is our producer, of course, Austin Derbyshire, as we get ready to bring you all the action of 3 different classes tackling the Daytona International Speedway road course. That's right, 3 classes, all separately run, but still full of excitement here today. Of course, this track here opened in 1959. The first road racing action started in the 1960s, and of course is home to 2 of the most iconic events in North America, the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Weather is looking quite nice in the virtual world as we are getting set and finishing up with qualifying here today. Our first race is a 3-hour endurance race. We will bring you the first 2 hours of this event as we get set to go, utilizing the iRacing GT3 cars that are on the iRacing platform. Cars such as the brand new Audi R8 Evo 2, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Porsche 911 GT3R, as well as also several other different manufacturers. Later on this evening, the next part of the Grid Vision's coverage of the 24 Hours of Beer will be utilizing the NASCAR stock cars, the Gen 7 Cup cars, later on this evening. And then tomorrow, the final 6 hours, which will bring you the final 2 hours of the event, will be utilizing the GTP cars in IMSA and WEC competition. Now, for those of you who are wondering, what is this special event all about? Well, this is the 24 Beers of Daytona. This is an event that is, of course, a social event, an endurance event, where teams will strategically manage to drive time as well as drinking. Yes, we do not, of course, condone that for you to drink and drive in the real world, but in the virtual world, for fun and having a good time, by all means, let's crack open and have a good time indeed. Well, we have a quick word from Bo Condon, and Bo, what do you got to tell us?
Welcome to the 2024 24 Beers of Daytona. Drivers, start your drinking.
There's a bear needs drinking, some long neck bottles need clinging. I got some pop top since 5 o'clock, and I know you know what I'm thinking. There's a line needs a wedding, and some problems that need forgetting. It's a raise your glass and tip it on back kind of weekend. 'Cause there's a bear who needs drinking, and there's a bear who needs drinking.
Well, certainly our, of course, amazing admin team, Bo Condon, as well, being the main idea, the brainchild for this special event. He's ready to go, cracking a cold one, ready to go. Are the rest of the drivers ready to go? They've already started commencing drinking actually earlier on today, so they will be ready to go indeed. Let's go ahead and give you your starting lineup, as I think it should be ready to go. As we see right now, qualifying is wrapping up. It is currently the Light Beer Mafia 104 Porsche with an all-star lineup, I have to say myself, with Caden Lapsevich, who is behind the wheel currently. Of course, brother to Trayton Lapsevich, who will be running in the Cars Tour here in 2024, and also a competitor in the NASCAR Pinty Series for a couple of seasons. He's also joined by NASCAR Truck Series driver and NASCAR eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series competitor, of course, Caden Honeycutt, and NASCAR spotter, of course, as well, Jonathan Platt behind the wheel of that 104 Porsche. The second place car, who's currently right now, this is not official, is the Too Drunk to Drive Michael Zuver machine in the number 96. He is certain there in second. And then wrapping up your top three is the Fast Applesauce Racing Team of Jasper Zanell. As qualifying is wrapping up, everyone's trying to get their last few minutes. Currently, we have about 14 GT3 cars out on the track for today's action. We hope to have you enjoy this amazing event. We'll have special guests coming in throughout the entire broadcast, interviewing, talking with them, giving them points or thoughts of this event, and what we can expect for the entirety of the 2024 Thunderclap season as we get ready to kick off another great year with the groups over at Thunderclap and RL Production. Qualifying just wrapping up here at the World Center of Racing. And of course, we are just kicking off another great time here at Daytona. Of course, for those of you who were tuning in, the, of course, iRacing Daytona 24 kicked off a couple of weeks ago. Then we had the real life Rolex 24. Currently right now, the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup at Daytona is going on right now. But now it is time for your starting lineup for the Thunderclap Exhibition Series 24 Beers of Daytona. It is Caden Lapsevich in the Light Beers Mafia Porsche on the pole with a 144.95. Then it's Michael Zuver, who is sitting in second place. He is going to be in the 96 Too Drunk to Drive. Fast Applesauce Racing Team with Jasper Zanell will be in the number 92, followed by DNQ International Beers of Matt Holland in the fourth position. Freedom United Motorsports will be starting fifth with Fast Apple Flap Racing Team of Nicholas Harding in the sixth. Show Up Racing is Thomas S. Aaron is seventh with Beer Money Racing, Greg McConey in eighth. Not a Rapper Team with William Dove is in ninth with Tism Motorsports, Steven Lechensky in 10th. Midpack Racing Motorsports will be Justin Clapper with Team Colby Peterson with Colby Peterson in 12th. The entire administration with Bo Condon, who we just saw, he sits in 13th with Team ARCS Misfits. Kevin Femster will be starting in the 14th position, riding shotgun in the field. It's going to be exciting what action we're going to see here, and these drivers are already commencing a little bit. Give you a quick rundown of some of the rules of this event here tonight and into tomorrow, as this event will go through the next few hours of competition. As we look through, these drivers already have 4 sets of tires and 10 fast repairs, which they're probably going to need them for this first 3-hour stage. So the event breakdown is these drivers have 1 to 4 drivers in their team, and they will have to strategically manage the drive time with drinking time over 3 total sessions here today. 2 3-hour sessions with the GT3s and the NASCAR Next Gen cars, and then the 6-hour session tomorrow with, of course, the GTP cars. This is a fixed set of event, which they are utilizing here today. So what's kind of be the breakdown? Well, drivers must drink if they have a certain amount of drivers per team, a total of 24 beers if they have 1 or 2 drivers, 3 beers or 36 beers if they have 3, and 48 beers if they have 4 or more drivers on their team. So that is the whole deal of this. They have to be able to drink at any time during the official start and end of the event. They do not have to stop their cars to take a drink. Can drink outside of their car as well, means teammates may drink while they drive. So these must be completed before the end of the race. So in order to confirm if beers are being consumed, they must keep their cans and show that. Meanwhile, pace cars down on pit road. Barney the Flagman has the green flag in hand, and let's see how the chaos goes here at Daytona as they make the run down over into turn number 1. Already just up in front of the field is Caden Lapsevich, who takes the lead already in his Porsche, while the two Ferraris of Zuver and Zanel are already all over his back bumper as they snake their way out of turns 2 and 3. Everyone trying to get themselves lined up, ready to go, as is one Porsche, two Ferraris, and then two more Porsches, your top 5 as they come through the International Horseshoe for the first time. Oh, trouble right there. One of the BMWs goes around. That is Kevin Femester right there, who has a little bit of trouble. Greg McConey also dropping back. The Stevensville, Michigan native having a tough start to the day, but he's still got plenty of time to get through this. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Caden Lapsevich leads the charge right now with the two Ferraris hot on his tail of Zuber and Zanel as they head off into turn 6 up onto the NASCAR banking as we pick up a little further back. That appears to be William Dove, who goes around in front of the field off turn 6. No one collects him. He's going to be okay for the moment, but loses a ton of time as we take a look at the replay here. This is a tricky situation at this section of the circuit because you're having to be careful with a little bit of wheel hop as you come through here. Car loops around in front of him, and that's our second spin of this 3-hour race so far. A couple of close calls with a couple of Ferraris trying to avoid contact with them as we pick up the field heading off in through the Le Mans chicane up onto the high banks of NASCAR turn 3 and 4. And they will continue on their way. A little bit of a gap now between your top 2 as here comes a big run by Michael Zuver down to the inside. He will lead lap number 1 here at Daytona International Speedway. Great drive as he will pull ahead and lead the opening lap at Daytona. And with that, Caden Lapsevich has actually fallen all the way to the 5th spot. A little bit of strategy possibly could be coming into play, or he could have had to take a drink right there as they work their way down into the International Horseshoe. That will move Andrew Allen up in the Porsche. The Freedom United Motorsports, Zanel drops to 3rd. Then Thomas Aaron, the Show Up Racing Porsche, will sit in 4th. Nicholas Harding, a little further back, is trying to keep up in his Ferrari, as you see on screen as they come through the kink. Everyone just minding their P's and Q's. Doesn't want to cause too much as more trouble further back. Stephen Lechensky, as well as also Colby Peterson around in their Ferrari and Porsche. Let's take a look at the replay to see what has happened for the Fort Atacanis, Wisconsin native. Could not try to see if he could fit in a hole that was not there. Contact with one of the Ferraris of Colby Peterson, who was just trying to mind his own business, but unfortunately gets collected up. And now a little bit of damage to the TISM Motorsports Porsche as Colby Peterson tries to continue on his way. In the as the field works their way. Oh, trouble again for Thomas Aaron as he loops it around, loses the front bumper of his Porsche. And will continue on his way, but it looks like he might have hit the bump a little too hard coming through the Le Mans chicane. Let's take a look on board. Sends it in. Oh, there's a contact right there with one of the Ferraris. That is Jasper Zanel who made contact with him. Field now working their way up through into the top turn 1. It is still Michael Zuver leading the charge here in the opening stages of the 24 Beers of Daytona. As Zuver is doing a good job managing his positioning and pace for the moment. Here comes Andrew Allen sitting in 2nd place, also keeping pace with him. Currently about 1.2 separates them as they work through the kink over to the Western Horseshoe before they head back up onto the onto the Daytona International Speedway oval section of the course. Everyone so far going to just try to find their rhythm. That's the important thing when it comes to these endurance races, finding their rhythm in order to get themselves set up for a run later on in the race. As they climb up the banking here, there you see one of the Audi machines of trying to get a number of that. That might be Pat Holland, who is right now trying to sit in the 7th position, the VNQ International Beer Machine. having a little bit of a quiet run. They're about 10 seconds back from your race leader, 1.3 seconds back from Justin Clapper in the mid-pack motorsports machine, trying to hold off Kevin Femester in the Team ARC's Misfits as they head through the Le Mans chicane. As there goes Femester into the barrier hard, loses the nose of that 296 Ferrari. And we'll take a look at the replay to see what happened, but that's some significant damage to the nose of that Ferrari 296 GT3. Into the braking zone and just overshoots it and misses his corner and hard into the tire barrier, loses the nose. And that's going to probably require a fast repair, if any, as he will now continue on his way. We'll see if he comes down pit road this time. He will. He needs to get that damage fixed, and he will rejoin the racetrack as he will utilize one of his two. As another car is coming off pit road as well. That is the Tism Motorsports of Stephen Lechensky and Colby. No, that's not Colby Peterson. That is Lechensky's coming off pit road right now. There was another car also on pit road. I believe that was the Tom Farron right there coming back onto the track after his damage he had coming through the bus stop in the Show Up Racing Porsche. Andrew Allen starting to close in on Michael Zuver in the top two. That's now down to 0.8 of a second, and we ride on board in his Porsche 992 as they head down the back straightaway into the Le Mans chicane, hits the braking zone. Nice drive through here, and consider all this beverages that have been consumed so far. Everyone really doing a great job to keep the run going as they work their way around the circuit here. It's a good run out of the chicane, heading into NASCAR 3 and 4. He's currently about a second now, so he lost 2/10 coming out of there, but he's going to try to see if he can keep pace. He was a 10th off fast time last lap. Let's see what he does if they come across the line this time by. And he's still about a 10th off compared to your race leader, Michael Zuver, who is still being comfortable as we see here. And Jasper Zanel's trying to keep pace in his Ferrari. He's got Caden Lapsevich and Nicholas Harding closing in. Here comes Lapsevich. He'll try to send it into the International Horseshoe. Sends it in deep, completes the pass. More contact, though, as here comes Zanel trying to get a good run off of the International Horseshoe. Cannot do it, but the Fast Applesauce Racing team are now having some help coming up as Apple Flap is right there behind them as the two teammates will try to work their way to catch back up and get around Caden Lapsevich for that position. Riding on board here with Harding as he is trying to let you take a look at all of the amazing faces on the board of Nicholas Harding. As my producer lets me know what they are, but just continue on and see what happens here for the rest of the race. But as we continue to watch the action here they come. Caden Lapsevich tries to hold on and holds the position in through the Le Mans chicane. And now the two Porsches are sitting in the podium, except for the main spot, which is held by Zuver in the pole or the leading position in his Ferrari. Coming through out of NASCAR 4, drivers now just trying to continue on their way, trying to continue to build a little bit of momentum and stay ahead of the competition as they work their way back into turns 1. Hard onto the brakes. Zuver running some very fast, consistent times. He was almost 0.3 of a second faster, but not the fastest. That goes to Caden Lapsevich last time by with a 1:45.496. So really fast time here as the two Fast Apples machines trying to keep pace and see if they can get their chance to go 1-2 before the end of this race. There is your Audi of Matt Hoyland, and then Justin Clapper right there behind in the mid-pack motorsports machine, trying to keep it clean after starting in basically the mid-pack at the end of qualifying his 911 Porsche. Really good run as they work their way through heading into the Western Horseshoe, tries to keep it in line. I'm surprised by how well everyone's so far driving, as here comes Greg McConey. And finally, Thomas Aaron and William Dove. William Dove right there in ninth. Goes a little bit wide, gathers it back up. Great job for great recovery. As I think he forgot to turn off his marks on there, unless he decided to do that purposely. Take a look at the paint scheme as he will continue on his way. There's Thomas Aaron rounding out your top 10. He had a little bit of damage already to the nose of that, as Colby Peterson right behind. And then there's Kevin Femester, Bo Condon, who is quite a ways back, is struck as Feemster continues on his way. But Condon also right there, quite a ways back there. You see Bo in the RL Productions Audi. Not the start he was hoping for, but it's still a long race to go. We have this 3-hour race. They'll then take the position of how you finished into the next race later on with the NASCAR Next Gen cars. And then however it's finished for the NASCAR Next Gen race is when they will then bring out, of course, using the lineup for the Porsche 963, or for the GTP class, you utilize the Porsche 963, the Cadillac GTP, as well as also the BMW and Acura. Here comes Caden Lapsevich on to Andrew Allen a little further back as we pick up Michael Zuver. But Lapsevich really setting the pace here as he tries to close the gap to retake the race lead. And watching on board, of course, Caden Lapsevich, a well-known racer himself up in Canada and here in the Southeast. As he will try to former NASCAR Pinty Series champion up in Canada, as well as also competing in other forms of motorsports, as he is trying to keep pace. Gets a great run to the Le Mans chicane. He's going to try to get a good run coming up through here of NASCAR 3 and 4 with the toe. Will he try to slingshot past his competitor down to the inside? So far, he's going to stay tucked up behind and try to use a little bit of slipstream to see if they can close the gap on the Porsche. No, he's going to go around the outside of the other Porsche, side by side as they cross the line, and he will move up into P2. Nope, he's going to stay right there and hold on. He's going to back off, let Andrew Allen slide back up into P2 as they are losing a little bit of time to your race leader, Michael Zuber, as those two are battling. A little bit of wide right there, almost for Allen. He almost missed his braking mark, but was able to gather it back up and continue. This could open the door for Lapsevich to see if he can get it back around for second. Not going to do it this time as he stays tucked up, and they make their way over to the Western Horseshoe. The two Ferraris right there behind in 4th and 5th, trying to see if they can catch up, as Zuber still holds on to the race lead. Zuber is still there. There you see Zanell and Harding trying to see if those two can work together to hunt down your top 3 as they enter onto the high bank. So far, everyone is doing a great job here, all things considered. And we'll see what happens as they head down the backstretch. Pass for second place happening up ahead as they head into the Le Mans chicane. Lapsevich tried to send it to the inside, could not make it work. Has to gather it back up, loses a little bit of time, but that toe will come into play and gather himself to where he can maybe make another run out of NASCAR 4. As we watch here, side by side, battle for position. Lapsevich on the top side in the red Porsche, the red, white, and blue machine of Allen. They are staying close, tucked up side by side, but Allen will hold off Lapsevich once again. What a battle we're having here for second as Lapsevich trying to find a way to get around and get that second spot in. but not going to work this time. He'll try around the outside as they come off the International Horseshoe. He then gets a good run around and sets himself up for the inside lane into the kink. Side by side, they will go. He managed to clear him, almost pushes them both off the track as they head off into the Western Horseshoe. And closing on race leader Michael Zuber, they are as they make the run to turn number 6. Field doing a great job as they work out of 6 up onto the banking of NASCAR 1 and 2 as they climb the banking here. A good run. You see the drivers try to stay up to the top side of the wall, build that momentum up and keep them going, and then they'll dive it down to the bottom of the racetrack here. Of course, no other class competitors. It is literally all just GT3 cars only for this race. I mean, could you imagine if we had all 3 classes running here in this same race? That would be an interesting one, I have to say so, as the 2 fast apple machines of Zanell and Harding still trying to keep pace, but they're losing time, and poor old Matt Hoyland out there in no man's land all by himself, but that can be a bit of a good thing for him because no pressure for him. Meanwhile, a little further back, we have a little bit of battling between McConey and Clapper, as Greg McConey and the Beer Money Racing will move up into 7th place with that pass heading into the Le Mans chicane. Great run here as the field works their way through the middle of turns 3 and 4 of the NASCAR section of the course. Down the front straightaway they go, but for McConey, he will maintain his position and hold on to continue through his way. Riding right now on board with McConey as he works his way down into turn 1, carrying speeds of quite a bit for the state's Stevensville, Michigan native. Of course, for McConey, having a good run here in the BMW M4, the only BMW M4 GT3 in the field here today, as he heads into the International Horseshoe. Great run. He will start to pull away just a bit and start to see if he can make some track up on his competitors up ahead. Last time by, he was 2 seconds off Matt Hoyland, but now here comes Lapsevich. He is now back onto the back bumper of Michael Zuber as he will try and retake the race lead after 10 laps of not leading it here today as they head off out of turn 2 into the Le Mans chicane. He'll look to the inside, side by side battle for the race lead. The 104 versus the 96. Ferrari versus Porsche. Porsche will reclaim the race lead here as they come out of the Le Mans chicane up onto the banking of NASCAR 3 and 4. As the field works their way through coming out of NASCAR 3 and 4, he's going to stretch that lead out. It's now 7/10 of a second, but the draft is going to come into play. Allen's trying to stay pace right there to keep up and have a shot of maybe going up for second, but he's got a little bit of work to do right there as they work their way through the tri-oval. Let's take a look at the replay of that pass for the race lead. Nope, actually, Feemster having some problems once again. And hits the curbing right there through turns 2 and 3. Honestly, since he's already on that side, I would have just turned it around and continued on, just take the cut course penalty, but I mean, that's a way to save time, I have to say, even though you have to take the cut course penalty. As the field now works their way around the circuit, the 2 fast apple machines are struggling a little bit to keep up with your top 3 right now. They are currently anywhere between half a second to 3 seconds, or 3/10 of a second a lap slower than your top 3 at the moment. So they got a little bit of work to do here, but they are still got time to make it work. Meanwhile, for the DNQ International Beers Machine, as we pick up William Dubb, not a rapper, Audi, out on the track. He is trying to close in on Justin Clapper into the 8th spot, making quick work of him as he's trying to close the gap as they enter out of turn number 6 up onto the banking for the first time, as they will continue on their way. And the field will watch on and wait to see who comes out, as here comes a big run for Michael Zuver. Lapsevich makes way and moves out to let him retake the race lead. We're going to have to ask, of course, Caden later on to see what the plan was for letting Michael Zuver by. Is it fuel strategy? These cars here can go about an hour to just about an hour 5, hour 10 if they save enough fuel on the track in order to make some fuel runs and this race. Of course, they have plenty of sets of tires to make it through to the end if they choose to. And a little bit of battling between the two teammates of the Fast Apple machines of Zanell and Harding. Zanell gets a little bit loose there, gathers it back up. No problem, no harm, no foul. As Hoyland's trying to close in. He's 3 seconds back from these two. Keeping an eye on some of the other competitors here. I'm going to take a look and see what we got going on. As we watch the Porsche of Justin Clapper and William Dove having a little bit of a battle here. This is actually one of the closer battles we have on the track. This is the battle for P8 between Clapper and Dove, as Dove gets a great run out of the Western Horseshoe and sets his sights to try to set a pass up heading into turn number 6. Looks around to try to get it done. Not going to work this time, but he has the draft to help him out and make a run for position. Field working their way through as they come out of NASCAR 2, setting up to come out of the back straightaway here. And will we see the driver of William Dove set the pass up into the chicane? No, he's going to just follow through the Le Mans chicane, continue on his way. Maybe try to set something up out of NASCAR 4. As pass for the lead, we have Michael Zuver loses it to Lapsevich after a mistake by Zuver out of turn 1. So we take a look at the replay. Lapsevich looks to the outside, tries to set up. Zuver, though, just overshoots the braking, loses it, has to gather it back up, and that opens the door for Lapsevich to gather it back up and take over the race lead once again. Great run so far between the drivers as they continue on their way. This is going to bring in Andrew Allen a little closer in the Freedom United Motorsports Porsche. As we watch on and see how the competition will work its way through so far. Everyone doing a great job and continuing on their way. A couple of incidents that we've had and close calls, but no major incidents for today. Of course, this event is not only just for fun, but it's also a charity event as well. Courtesy of 2 more 4 troopers, all entry fees will be donated to the March of Dimes in support of their fertility initiatives, and the 2 more for troopers challenge will raise $5 for every driver who drinks 2 more than their required 12 beers during the event, with a minimum of $500 being donated. And of course, this event is got that international flair, just like we see in the actual Rolex 24. We have drivers from the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and of course, over 20 United States are represented here today in the field as the drivers continue to watch on. Lapsevich starting to pull away a little bit further ahead of the competition. Of course, Lapsevich is from Canada as well, even though he is in the States at the moment. Watching on here as the field works their way through. There you see McConey, one from Michigan, working his way through out of turn number 1. He has moved up into the 7th position. William Dove was able to battle with Justin Clapper. Those two swapping positions as they come out of turn number 1. Clapper will maintain the position ahead of Dove as they work their way through into the International Horseshoe, and sets themselves up for a great run as they come out of the corner heading down to the kink. So while we watch the action here, let's see if we can talk to some of the drivers that we have here as Dove gets turned right there by Clapper. That will lose all the time that he has here. As we take a look at the replay, yes, we see the chrome horn being utilized in sports car racing as Looks like Dove tried to hold the line and get up, but Clapper had none of it and sent him around. Tough break right there for William Dove, who was having a good run, and he'll gather it back up, continue on his way, but lose position to Thomas Herron in the Show Up Racing Porsche, who will take over the 9th spot. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, your race leader, Caden Lapsevich, already lapping a couple of cars already. Lechensky in the Tism Motorsports and Kevin Femester as well. As here comes Matt Hoyland. He has now finally joined the party to get into the top 5 for the first time here today, as the UK driver works his way to close the gap on the 2 Ferraris up ahead. Field working their way as they come out of turn number 6, and so far he's going to see if he can set himself up for a run out of NASCAR 1 and 2 before they head into the Le Mans chicane. We could see a new driver in the top 5 here before this lap is over. Riding on board here with the driver, Matt Hoyland. He gets a good run in his Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 machine. Good run. Sets up into the Le Mans chicane. Stays tucked up close, nice and tight, and so far will stay up and maybe try to make a run before they enter into turn number 1. Hear that Audi just screaming to close up to the back bumper of the Ferrari 296. Working their way through as we watch on here on board with Matt as he looks to the inside, crosses over, tries to do it. Block is coming in though as the 2 Fast Apple machines trying to just play defense to keep the Audi behind. So far, not going to work. As you got to be careful with that. Plus, throw in the fact that they've had a couple of beers already. And around the outside for Matt Hoyland, he tries to send it around the outside. And continues on his way. A lot of defensive work right there by the 2 Fast Apple machine. Coming out of turn 6, those drivers really putting the pressure on and trying to prevent Matt Hoyland from coming around them and getting into the top 5. Tough break right there as we watch on and see the chaos that could ensue between these 3 drivers. But great racing. On here on board with Nicholas Harding as he tries to hold him off and continue on here. Hoyland in the Audi trying to close up with the draft. So far, not going to work at the moment. He's got a good run, but I don't know if he's going to be able to close and get into position. As they work their way around the circuit, close racing here. The 2 Fast Apple machines are really trying to get a good run and stay on the position here. But here comes Matt with a big push. He'll try to see if he can go around, not close enough to make anything work. And they'll go lined up side by side as they best they can through the corners. Here comes Matt. He gets an opening. He wants around the outside of Nick Harding as he tries to keep make it stick. Will he make it work? Goes a little bit too wide. Harding still trying to hold on strong as now we have ourselves a very special guest joining us, Mr. Jonathan Platt, who is part of the team of Light Beer Mafia and Caden Lapsevich. Jonathan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty damn good.
Okay, big question first and foremost. How many beers are you in so far in this event?
So we're going to be very honest. I'm 13 beers in. I've almost finished my quota. So I've got 1 more and we're done with everything. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going, but it's okay.
It's okay. Well, I got to ask a little bit of the strategy you got going on here, because we saw for the opening lap, Caden just kind of went up to the top side and let Zuber by. Was that a strategy, or was he having
No,
to grab a can and take a drink before?
no. So he missed the bus stop and had a penalty, so he had to go up to the top and let the guys by. But he fought back, got the lead back. As you see, he's driving away now. So we raced this race last year, lost it off of turn 4 at the end of the race. We came into this year saying that we're going to dominate the hell out of this race. So as you see, we're trying to do that. I'm probably the weakest link, so I'm next one in the car. Hopefully, I can just maintain and not lose so much. But as far as it goes, we're coming here to dominate the summer gun.
Well, you are definitely starting on the right direction now. Getting ready to kick off the 2024 NASCAR season coming up, ARCA season as well. Any big plans for you this season going into 2024?
Yeah, so I left Connor Jones, as you guys know, with Ford. Got a up and coming driver with Katie Head Chevrolet program. So I'm gonna work with her full time this year. So hopefully that works out. She's got a really bright future, really great race car driver. She's got a little bit to learn. Hopefully I can teach her some things. Hopefully as a group we can work together, build a great program. Father's going on his own, building an entire race team for her. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. There's a pretty bright future where this stuff comes from. So, I mean, I just hope it all works out right.
Yeah, we hope it all works out indeed. We love to hear new and up and coming talent coming on into the world of racing. And of course, for you, it's a great opportunity to help coach those future superstars into the future. And looking forward to seeing what you can do as you get ready to get behind the wheel of this Porsche 992 GT3 car.
I'm gonna wreck this son again probably twice. So,
Well, good news is you got some fast. Hey, you got some faster pairs ready to go for you, so if need be.
yeah, 100%. The fast pairs, and I got some superstars coming in after me. I got Zach, and of course we had a recruit here, so I got Coca-Cola Irish driver coming in, Caden Honeycutt. So he'll be behind the Chevrolet next gen car. So hopefully we can put it to these boys this year. So hopefully we'll see.
All right, now question here: with the NASCAR Next Gen cars, should we see the NASCAR cars return to the Daytona Road Course in real
I
life?
think so. I think so. Absolutely. It's more of a road course based car, right? Like
It is.
why are we not there? So you can race the 500 one weekend and then the next week you can come back to the road course. I mean, 100%. Like road course racing has gotten a lot bigger with that car. So why not bring it back to this deal like we did a couple years ago? So I think we should.
That or put it as an invitational class in the Rolex 24 in January.
I mean, I don't know about that. Like the Rolex is its own deal. We need to invade on that and taint it. Like the Rolex is its own deal. Let's do our own thing and let's make it actual point series paying race.
I hear you 100%. Well, good luck to you. We look forward to seeing what you can do. When you get behind the wheel, we'll keep track and hopefully see you try to keep it out of the wall. But I know you're expecting 2 faster pairs being used by the time you're done.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm next in after this field run. But thank you, Darby. Thank you, Taylor. This is a fun event. We're all here to have fun. So to get it, boys.
Let's go get it indeed. Good luck to you, Jonathan. That is, of course, Jonathan Platt. He is teammates to the Light Beer Mafia and leader, Caden Lapsevich, who is currently out there on the track leading the charge. He has about a 6-second lead over Michael Zuver. And a little further back, well, the Fast Apples are having a tough battle indeed with the UK driver, Matt Hoyland. In fact, they're really showcasing some tough racing as they're going to go 3 wide through the banking here at NASCAR 3 and 4. This is going to be tight as they come out. Draft going to work out for the 2 Ferraris, but Matt Hoyland is really going to try to showcase that speed in the Audi as Germany versus Italy in the 2 manufacturers heading down into turn 1. Not going to work this time. The 2 Ferraris hold on, but Matt's going to try to send it in around the outside, gets pushed up the track. And we're going to have a conversation with Matt Hoyland here as he is definitely having a tough, fierce battle. We'll give him a little bit of time, let him focus on this battle here. But I cannot. Ooh, pushes out of the way Nicholas Harding and Jasper Zanell. Zanell gets moved. That will move him into the top 5 for the first time here today. Great racing battle here as they work their way out of the Western Horseshoe, and Matt Hoyland is really showcasing the speed here today and sends it in deep. Will we see the chrome horn? Not quite yet, but here comes Zanell looking to the inside. Not going to work this time, and will continue on his way as he gets the 5th position for the DNQ International Beers Audi as they come out of the back straightaway heading over to the Lamar chicane. Great racing action here, as there you see Michael Zuver in 2nd place, working his way around Steven Lachinski, and that's Colby Peterson right there in the Peterson Racing's Ferrari. So let's take a few moments to enjoy the different sights and sounds here at Daytona International Speedway. As we hear the engine notes, you're watching the 24 Beers of Daytona live on Grid Vision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Grid Vision's coverage of the 24 Beers of Daytona. Live here, of course, Taylor Burrs along with our producer Austin Derbyshire bringing you all the coverage here today as we watch on and see how the race is folded out. It's still Caden Lapsevich who, with the Light Beer Mafia, leads by about 8.5 seconds over these two drivers, Michael Zuver and Andrew Allen, who decides to send it in deep into turn one to get around Zuver. Not going to quite work out, but the two Ferrari and Porsche are battling it out very finely as they work their way over to the International Horseshoe once again, as we are closing in on 1 hour completed in the event. As we see here, the two fast Apple machines are working their way around the administration, as they are called, of Bo Condon and, of course, company, Chase Leahy and Justin White, as the field works their way through turns kink and heading into the Western Horseshoe. And still great racing action here as the fast Apple machines are just trying their best to catch up to your top three, but so far they had a little bit of a battle with the UK as D&Q International Beers Matt Hoyland. They had a fierce battle for a couple of laps, but now has fallen off the pace a little bit as they head up onto the banking here. And you know what? We're going to bring up a member of the administration here as we will move up, of course, the great Chase Leahy. One moment, as we will need to move him up here. As Chase Leahy joins us up here in the booth. Chase, you're having a little bit of a tough time out on track with the administration. Bo's got it into the top 10, 1 lap down, but is this a strategy, or how's things going for you so far?
No, unfortunately, we had a little mishap in the first lap. Got a stop-and-go penalty. But we're coming back to the field now. You know, I think we're pretty positive about the whole situation and see where things go from here. We got about 9 laps until we got to pit for a driver swap. And then, yeah, see how things go from there.
Now, Chase, we already talked to one person of the Light Beer Mafia, and they've already said they've drank 13 beers so far. How many beers have you downed so far in this event?
I think I'm on 10 right now.
Oh, hey, I mean, that's double digit, but we're making the way through. But yeah. A lot of great things happening here, of course. A lot of great organization involved and some charity events happening here as well.
Yes,
March of Dimes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's all Bo. Bo put on this great event for everybody. I know a lot is going to charity. I don't know the exact number, but we raised a hell of a lot so far already. And I don't know. I think everything at the end of the day should be going really well for the charities.
It certainly seems as trouble for Michael Zuver, your driver, who is in second place, and for the Oakwood driver, who's probably drunk, as he says right there. That Ferrari is definitely struggling right now, as let's see what happened to him heading into turn 6. Try to give the chrome horn a little bit, but it didn't work out in his favor, unfortunately, and he will fall back to the 5th position at this moment. But Chase, a lot of great racing still to come. We have the next-gen cars later on this evening before we go to some high-powered prototypes later tomorrow afternoon with the GTP cars to wrap up this 24 Beers event.
Yes, sir. Yeah, next-gen should be a lot of fun. I know me and Clapper last year put on a hell of a show for everybody in the next-gen. Side by side for like 5, 6, 7, 8 laps or something. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Looking forward to that later on tonight.
We are too here, and we'll catch all the action here on Grid Vision as we continue some exciting racing here. And Chase, we'll let you head on back down to your team to see how things go and get yourself ready for the closing of this stage here for you to get back into the car.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
That is Chase Leahy, who is, of course, part of the administration, and he will continue on and help to get his team up further in the standings. Watching on here, a little bit of a replay as some bump. This is the pass for second that we saw earlier, where Andrew Allen was able to get around Michael Zuver before Zuver had his incident. Allen gets to the inside, puts the bumper, and will move up into that second place. So it's now a Porsche 1-2, followed by three Ferraris hot on his tail, as Zuver now has quite a bit of work to do. And then the Audi of Matt Hoyland, and then the BMW in 7th position. So quite a bit of racing still to go. 9 cars on the lead lap. William Dove is the last car on the lead lap in 9th, the 420 machine. Currently trying to see if he can stay on the lead lap before the first round of pit stops here. As we pick up the 2 Fast Apple machines, who are now bump drafting once again. That's what they've been doing this entire race. Nose to tail in their Ferrari 296s as they work their way through. Get a good look at the engine compartment, I have to say, as they head off into turn 1. They are currently 16 seconds back from your race leader and running a tenth faster, but the problem is I think they are struggling just a little bit when it comes to in the corners compared to your race leader, Caden Lapsevich here as he works his way through. Looking on and seeing as we pick up Caden Lapsevich coming up through the corner of turn 6 up onto the NASCAR 1 and 2 banking. As he will work his way through, and it looks like there was a driver change for the team ARCS Misfits of course, Femester, who was in the car at one point. Now it is Cody Panel behind the wheel of the number 12, the Good Hope, Georgia native. Of course, one of the newer GT3 cars that are coming on board here in the iRacing platform. And, of course, a winning car at the Daytona 24 this year already in the GTD Pro category with Risi Competizione. So the Ferraris definitely are going to be ones to watch here in this race, as there is quite a bit of Ferraris racing in this event. As we have at least 5 Ferraris running in this event, followed by at least 2 Audis, or 3 Audis, 1 BMW, and then the rest of the field is utilizing the Porsche 992. 5 Porsches indeed here in this field. So good little mix of cars that we have in the field. We're missing a couple of them, such as the Lamborghini, and then of course, you know, with the announcement that happened, or not official announcement, but iRacing was at the Daytona 24 this year, and they were scanning 2 other possible GT cars that could be coming to the platform in the near future. And oh, trouble right there, almost for Bo Condon, as he nearly got ran over by Matt Hoyland, who is battling with Michael Zuver as they head over to the Western Horseshoe. The RL Productions machine trying to hold on to the 10th spot. He got some good positions to start off with when they get ready for their stint in the NASCAR Next Gen cars, which got a couple of the cars got a little bit of a facelift. So the NASCAR Ford Mustang Dark Horse, as well as the Toyota Camry XSE, which was updated earlier this week in iRacing, or last week actually in iRacing, for us to utilize for the 2024 NASCAR season. As the Audi that you see on track right now is the newest GT3 car added to the iRacing service as part of the 2024 Season 1 build. As we keep an eye on some of the action here today, as watching on so far, this battle for the top 5 is looking really strong right now, as Hoyland tries to keep up the pace here. And of course, if you're in the YouTube chat here, make sure to give us a shout out. Tell us who your favorite driver you're pulling for is, as the 92 of Jasper Zanell comes down pit road. Another driver comes down as well of Greg McConey, as he will come and service his BMW M4 machine. Jasper Zanell also finishing up his service on his Ferrari. As Caden Lapsevich continues to lead the charge in the Porsche, 14 seconds ahead of the second Porsche of Allen as they head down towards the Le Mans chicane. Harding sits in the third spot in the number 32 machine. So a little bit of a pace now set for the field, as it is now one of the Fast Apple machines out there on the track, as there will go the first Fast Apple of Jasper Zanell, who will rejoin the track in 8th position. McConey trying to finish his pit stop here as he works his way around and finishes up his services, and then will rejoin the track. 9 minutes left to go before we hit the 2-hour mark, as we'll have a couple of other drivers coming down pit road next time by the looks of it. As Andrew Allen and Harding coming down pit road along with a couple of other drivers. Nicholas Harding coming down pit road. Michael Zuver will stay on the track. Here comes Matt Hoyland as well in the 421 Audi. So everybody coming down pit road to top off on fuel, change tires, a couple of driver changes. As Adam James Wright will get behind the wheel. Charles Allen will get behind the wheel of the DNQ machine. And will Andrew Allen stay behind the wheel of his Porsche? So far, it's looking to be yes. As Zuber continues 24 seconds behind your race leader of Caden Lapsevich. Thomas Aaron will continue on racing, moving up to P3. As everyone now, here comes another driver. That is going to be William Dove in his Audi. 420 machine will make his way into his pit box and get service. Will there be a driver change, or will he stay in the car? As trouble on pit exit, one of the Porsches loops it around. That is Andrew Allen who loops it around and had a little bit of Austin Powers moment for the Guilford, Connecticut driver. Yep, just loops it right there. Loses a ton of time, a ton of track position, and see if we can get an earlier start to it. There he is. This is one of the hardest pit exits, I think, in all of motorsports. It almost clips the wall, but kind of an odd place where he loops it around right there. But we have seen it happen before in motorsports. We've even seen where fires happen off a pit exit. So as Caden Lapsevich comes out of the car, Jonathan Platt, who we talked to, is now on pit road, your pole sitter. As Barney, the pace car driver, is watching on. Michael Zuvers now heads his way into pit lane as well. Will there be a driver change, or will he stay on in the car? So far, it looks like to be no driver change for Michael Zuver. He will stay put and continue to drive in the number 96. As Jonathan Platt pulls away, we'll see if he is going to be able to keep it on the track. And Thomas Aaron will take over the race lead, the Show Up Racing Porsche. As trouble for Bo Condon, he has a little bit of a spin off corner exit and will continue on his way. Let's take a look at the replay. Coming through the kink, this is a tricky area, especially on cold tires. Overshoots the corner, possibly. Yep, loops it around into the grass. And decides to take the cut through right here at the bottom of the western horseshoe. Well, we're going to talk to a couple of drivers after this stint. Let's see who we can have. I believe Matt Hoyland was one of the drivers who did make a swap during this, as he did. So we'll go ahead and talk to Matt Hoyland. Matt Hoyland up here in the booth. Do you have a copy? Let's see what happens here. We'll check in with Matt a little later. So we'll try a different driver here. Let's see. As we look through the field, Michael Zuver still out on the track. Thomas Aaron, Nick Harding. Let's try one of the drivers here of Kevin Feemster. As we'll try to get him up into the booth. One moment. As Kevin Feemster up in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, Kevin, first and foremost, a little bit of a tough start to your race, but you're now back out on track, but still ready to go racing with quite a bit left to go. Walk us through the race so far for you in this event.
Well, I actually ended up switching out with one of our other drivers. But it was a little rough starting out here for me. Luckily, my teammates are going to pick us up here when we finish this stint out. Moving forward, I'll be back in the car here in a little bit. But yeah, it was rough. Under braking's been my biggest issue to start off with this, and first time in the car. I never ran this car before, so trying to get familiar with it those first few laps, and it just didn't work out for me.
All right, well, we've been asking each driver who we've had interviewed so far. The number is 13. How many have we had so far as beverages for this event so far?
Oh, I'm at 6. That's it.
At 6, okay. All right, well, Kevin, I mean, a lot of great things for this event so far. I mean, the NASCAR Next Gen cars are next to here later on this evening. Do you feel like you can make up some time when you get back behind the wheel with the Next Gen car, or do you think it's going to have to be with the GTPs for you to really showcase and go battle for a top 10 or even a top 5?
Well, I'll be honest with you, the Next Gen cars is probably the most comfortable car I am with on road courses. We have a big league that we run over in Arts, and we run a lot of road courses on those cars. So, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Kind of sucks they moved the Clash tonight. That's going to be going on at the same time, I believe. But we'll figure it out and maybe get some able to watch that and run this at the same time. We'll see what happens.
Well, we wish you good luck and look forward to seeing you competing for the rest of this event here at the 24 Beers of Daytona.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
That is Kevin Feemster, who their team is sitting 14th. They still got a lot of work to do, but there's still a lot of racing left to go as we watch on and continue to see here as Adam James Wright leads the charge in the Fast Apple machine. A little bit of a possible pit road penalty for the Light Beer Mafia of Jonathan Platt had an issue. As Show Up Racing, Tyler Jones now will get behind the wheel of the number 93 Porsche and continue on his way. As Jasper Zanell continues on his way here, leading the charge in second. Andrew Allen sits third. Tyler Jones will move up quite a ways, but he will drop back to 7th after his pit stop is complete. As we'll watch on and see who else we can probably bring up into the booth. Did Bo Condon already? Nope, he's still out on the track. Chase Lee, we talked to already. Let's see. There is one severely damaged Porsche. That's Stephen Lachinski, the Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin native, as Bo Condon is right there behind him coming down pit road as well. The number 20 Flintstone-mobile having some trouble as Baltimore's very own Bo Condon comes down pit road. Will he do a driver swap? As Chase Lee will get behind the wheel, the New Jersey native, and try to swap out with him. So we'll bring Bo up here in a little bit and see what happens. And now we will bring up another driver here. One driver who's been having a good battle so far, Jasper Zanell. And Jasper, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Talk us through your team's doing pretty good right now, running 1-2 for the Fast Apples, and quite an interesting race, I have to say, so far for you.
Yeah, we were like, let's do a little bit of shake and bake, and try to get to the front. So yeah, and that worked.
It certainly has worked out for you guys, Team Shake and Bake, as you guys are running 1-2. You got quite a bit of a lead over the Freedom United Motorsports team right now by about 10 seconds. Now, the question we got to ask you, we've been asking each driver so far, how many beverages have we had so far tonight?
Well, I'm not really drinking beer right now. I'm drinking stronger stuff, like 40%.
Okay.
It's called Berenberg.
Okay.
I've got a half a liter down right now.
Okay.
Let's say a bottle of whiskey halfway through.
Okay, well, I mean, for you to be able to still run strongly inside the top 3, that's been pretty impressive, I have to say.
Yeah, and Sammy is drinking as well, and he's probably on his 8, 9, mate. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
So, we're still doing great, and we're having fun, mate.
Yeah, you certainly are having quite a bit of fun. I mean, you had quite the spirited battle, I have to say, with one driver, that, of course, being the UK driver in the D&Q International Beers, Hoyland. You were really giving him a tough time at certain points.
Yeah. I saw him pass me, and also Nick passed me, and I was like, well, let's go through the bus stop. And I saw Nick leave a gap. I was like, I'm going to take that, and I'll push him right through, and so we can get back to our proper positions.
Well, you certainly got yourselves in a good spot right now, and you will continue to do so here for the next hour to 2 hours here before the next round of pit stops. We wish you the best of luck in this stint, Jasper.
Thank you very much. And Sammy is driving right now, so I wish him the best of luck as well.
That is Jasper Zanell and the Team Fast Apple Machine as they will continue on their way, leading 1-2 in the 2 Ferraris. Couple of drivers had some tough runs throughout the race so far, but William Dove is one of those drivers as they continue on. He's on pit road after his damages. As we watch the field work their way around, Anthony Burleson is behind the wheel of the mid-pack motorsports machine, so pretty much everyone except 2 or 3 drivers have done a driver swap. That's William Dove in the Not a Rapper. Then you have trouble once again for the 20 of Brandon Schumann in his number 20 Porsche. And then, of course, Michael Zuvers as well, as we take a look at the replay to see what happened to the 20 machine. And the TISM Motorsports continues to be in a tizzy. Too much brake, or too much gas, not enough brake, and hard into the tire barriers over at turn 1. As we try to look around here, let's see who else we can bring up into the booth. But you know what, let's talk to our former race leader that we had up here before. If I can just grab him. That's going to be Mr. Caden Lapsevich as soon as we get a hold of him. Let's try one more time to see if we can get him. Caden Lapsevich up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Caden, we got to ask kind of what happened to Jonathan?
Just leaving the pits there was a car stopped on the left, and, it's just, I don't know if it's the beers or self-awareness, but, the guy pulled out, hit him, and had wheel damage, so he had to come back and pit again, but, it's all right. We got a lot of time left. I feel really good about our Cup car stint, our GTP stint, so I think we'll be just fine.
Just fine indeed. Well, that's good to hear. We got to ask, 13 beers down is the number, of course, from your teammate, Jonathan. How many are we down so far as beverages today?
I got 5 in me right now. He's over there actually making cat noises right now while he's making laps, but, no, we're just having a really good time. This is a fun event, so, happy to be a part of it. Like you said, I think we came really close to winning it last year, and, I think we came set in on kill this year, and we're going to try and do even better.
Well, and not only that, but you have a very, very high caliber team. Of course, like Jonathan brought out, you will have Caden Honeycutt, NASCAR driver, coming on later during the next gen stint tonight, and a lot of great things still to come later on. As you said, you feel quite strong in that stint, as well as also with the GTPs tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I think Caden is obviously for the next gen car, he's gonna be our strong suit. It's what he knows how to do. I've tried to make laps in it here, and I can do it, but it's tough for me. I like the sports cars around here more better. So I think I might finish this stint, and then I'll probably do a good portion of the GTP stint tomorrow, and try and put ourselves in good position.
Well, Caden, let's talk a little bit about your plans for 2024 in the world of racing. We checked over. It looks like you're going to be doing some crew chiefing by the looks of it for the ARCA series.
Yeah, I'll be back at Venerini Motorsports this year with I have Tony Breidinger full time, so I'm looking really I'm really excited for it. I think we got a good chance to go chase a drivers championship, and hopefully open some eyes for myself and for Tony. She's grown a lot in the last couple years, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're at the point where as long as I do my job in the shop and stuff, we can show up and compete for wins on most of the big track stuff, and I think our short track program is pretty good. So I'm looking forward to it. Between that and doing some late model racing with my brother and some customers, it's going to be a busy year, but I'm excited.
Yeah, especially with your brother joining the Cars Tour here in 2024. Are we going to be seeing some sibling rivalries for some of those events here this year, or kind of be like, hey, let's have some fun, but still, I'm big brother. It's time to show you a thing or two.
No, I wish. The only real benefit I'm going to have for his program is that I've been to a lot of these racetracks before, so I know, like I've been to Hickory, I've been to Florence, I've raced at all those places, so I can, give him my driving knowledge, and hopefully it helps him. But I don't have any intentions myself of getting a late model stock unless it came available.
I understand completely. Well, Caden, we wish you the best of luck for this stint here, and we'll see you later on this evening with the next gen cars with Caden Honeycutt and the rest of your team.
Thank you, guys.
That is Caden Lapsevich, who currently now with the Light Beer Mafia sits in P6 at the moment, with Jonathan Platt behind the wheel as they will continue to try to work their way back up into the top 5 at the moment. As we watch on a couple of other drivers, let's see if we can bring a mid-pack motorsports driver up into the booth. Let's see if we can grab him. That's going to be Justin Clapper. We try to work our way through and keep an eye on him. Justin having a great run so far this season. Justin Clapper, this is Taylor here up in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do. How you doing?
We're doing all right. Well, you're holding up to your name, running mid-pack here in today's action. A lot of great racing so far. I had a couple of issues, but still holding strong inside the top 10.
Yeah, we're a little bit off sequence right now. Tony Burleson took over the wheel. I was actually trying to get a hold of him and stoved it right into the turn 1 tire barriers. So not exactly the plan that we want to be on right now, but if we can come out of here top 10 lead lap at stage 1, I think we'll be pretty happy to go into that next gen session at 9 o'clock.
Well, we got to ask you, how many beverages have we had so far this evening?
Oh, let's see. I got 4 looking at me right now, and about 2 or 3 more sitting on the bar. So we're racking them up pretty good.
Well, that's good to hear. Glad we're having a great time. And, of course, the Thunderclap Series getting ready to kick off here in a couple of weeks' time for the 2024 season. How excited are we feeling for that event kicking start?
Oh, man, we're thrilled to death. I actually just got done filming our commissioner's address for the first time this year. It's something I'm going to be doing on probably a quarterly basis throughout the season, just to kind of show my face to the guys and kind of give updates as the year goes on. So looking forward to putting that out there and get guys excited for the 2024 season. A lot of cool things coming this year. A lot of returning people, and a lot of new people as well. So we're really looking forward to it. February 21st can't come soon enough.
It certainly is, and of course, kicking things off, of course, back here at the World Center of Racing, of course, and a lot of things that we can be excited. Is there any cool things or even special appearances that we could be seeing from some of these drivers showing up here at these Thunderclap events in 2024?
Well, as far as I know, our champion, Brian Truex, Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity driver, will be making a return this year. We do have a few other guys along Cup Pit Road and stuff like that. A lot of NASCAR, Monster Jam, even IMSA guys that are be joining in for our season this year. The counts are getting up on the entries right now, but right now we're most excited just for our weekly head-to-head tournament that we're going to be having this year that Bocan has put together through RL Productions. I know we're working on some sponsorship stuff for that as well. So once that announcement comes out, that's going to be a really cool event. A Rookie of the Year challenge we'll have this year. Best of the Rest challenge. So points will also reset for everybody that's not in the playoffs. So there'll be dual playoffs at the same time. So that's going to be something that's going to be really thrilling for these guys.
That is going to be sounding very exciting indeed, and we look forward to it here, bringing it all live on Grid Vision. We'll let you go out there and try to see if you can continue to hold strong with your teammate of Tony Burleson.
10-4, guys. Have fun up there.
That is Justin Clapper, part of the Mid-Pack Motorsports machine, as they currently sit inside the top 10 in 9th position. As meanwhile, back up front, we have quite a bit of drivers ready to go. That is Adam James Wright, who leads the charge in the Fast Apple Racing team. His teammate Jasper, or actually that is not Jasper Zanella behind the wheel. That is Sammy D. Groot behind the wheel of the number 92 machine. So Sammy D. Groot trying to hold strong in second. Then you have the Freedom United Motorsports of Andrew Allen sitting in third position at the moment. So it is 2 Ferraris, a Porsche, and then another Ferrari of Michael Zuver and Charles Allen, your top 5 for this time here. As we say good afternoon, good evening to everyone tuning in here live on the Grid Vision stream. We got a busy weekend of action here. Of course, for those of you who are watching the 24 Beers of Daytona, we have, of course, this great action happening. Before we take a little bit of a break, step aside, come back around 9 o'clock. To where we will continue the second stage of the race, this time with the next-gen cars, but also simultaneously the Majors event at Daytona, the Intimidator, utilizing the NASCAR next-gen cars, as we will be only making left turns at the World Center of Racing as they kick off their second round of the 2024 season, before we're back at it again tomorrow afternoon for the conclusion of the 24 Beers of Daytona for the Thunderclap Exhibition Series here as the field works their way around. We're keeping an eye on some of the great racing action here, as we will have another special guest joining us here. That is going to be the Mr. Great Bo Condon, as we will bring him up, talk with him. As now, Mr. Bo Condon joins us up here in the booth. Bo, you having some fun out there?
I'm having an absolute blast, guys. Thank you so much for letting me hop in the booth with you.
Of course. Now, Bo, you guys are sitting in 10th position. Chase just got behind the wheel a few minutes ago and is currently trying to stay on the 1 lap down, trying to maybe see if he can get his lap back before the end of this stage. But a little bit of a quiet run for you guys as you're trying to work your way through. But still, overall, a great event as it's beginning to kick off.
Yeah, so lap 1, those first lap jitters, they'll get you. I just got one of those slowdowns, and I was like, all right, it's fine. I'll manage it in turn 1. Managed it, and then with 0.1 seconds left, I touched the throttle, and it was enough not to let the penalty go, and we had to serve that 40. But now, here we are. We're running fast. We're running essentially like 5th place kind of speed, and it was nice hearing that from Justin White and Chase Leahy, but it was unfortunate that we were doing it a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some great racing action, though, for you guys to try to claw your way back up. It's just a matter of trying to get that lap back, and you're doing a great good job of avoiding some incidents and chaos that is happening around you, as we saw of course, one of the BMWs nearly looping around in front of you, so you're able to continue on as we see Greg McConey continues on.
Yeah, poor Greg saw that he went around there in front of us. I know he was working hard to get around us earlier as Chase just kind of worked into the car. It's interesting, these tires, they're not terrible when you're starting a stint, but all of a sudden you think you've got heat in them, and you try and get back into the throttle, and there you go. You're looping around, and once you spin one of these cars that have traction control and all the fancy technology, the second it goes around, it's like 10 minutes trying to get that thing back on the track.
It certainly is, but you are seeing some great close racing action here as drivers are trying to negotiate lap traffic, work their way through, and a big sin right there, I have to say, by Chase as he's trying to work his way through, getting around the Charles Allen machine Audi as he works his way back up through to try to get a couple of cars. He's now sitting in and around the 5th and 6th spot, so he's closing, making quick time at the moment.
Attaboy.
Now, Bo, we got to ask, how many have you been indulged in with beverages? So far, the number is 13 to beat.
Oh, so I got to beat 13?
That's so far the number by Jonathan Platt.
All right, hold on a second. Here I go.
We'll go crack one live here on
got
Grid Vision.
6, 7, and I'm working on number 8 right now.
All right. We're getting things going right now.
As an admin, and as running this thing, we've had a lot of stuff to do, Okay?
Oh, of course. A very busy man you are here for the Thunderclap series.
Yeah, so again, I just really want to thank you guys so much for letting me jump in here, and I'm sorry if I sound jittery right now. I hear everything that the drivers are saying while also hearing you, and I'm trying to get it to turn off so that I can just hear you. So I apologize if I sound kind of discombobulated right now. But I'd love, if you have a second, I'd love to kind of talk about March of Dimes and 2 More for Trooper.
Absolutely. Go in and tell us everything about this organization.
So 2 More for Trooper started 1 year ago, essentially to the week, for the 24 Beers of Daytona. The name of the organization came from kind of a fun place in that the whole idea of 2 More for Trooper was if any of the drivers drank 2 more than their required 12 beers, we would donate money to charity. So it was in honor of Trooper, our dog who passed away from idiopathic epilepsy at the age of 2. And that first year, or this first 24 Beers of Daytona that we did this, we raised money for idiopathic epilepsy. Now that has grown in just one short year to raise over $2,000 for multiple charities, including a local charity here in Baltimore, a rescue charity here in Baltimore, Feeding America, and now we are raising money for March of Dimes for this 24 Beers of Daytona. And the reason we picked March of Dimes is my family personally, as well as a lot of the drivers actually, have been personally touched by fertility issues, and just issues getting a family started, or have had family that have had issues getting family started, and we decided that March of Dimes was the perfect charity to raise money for this event. So every single driver's entry is immediately being donated, 100% of those funds, and then RL Productions will be matching all of those entry fees. Plus, we'll be adding $5 more for each and every driver who drinks 2 more than their required 12. So the goal is, although every driver is aiming to drink 12 beers, we're really hoping that they get to 14.
Nothing wrong with that. As trouble right there for Jonathan Platt, who loops it around at the Le Mans chicane.
I thought it was us, so I feel way better.
Close call as we take a look at the replay right here and see how this works out for Jonathan. Does he just hit it, the barrier a little, or the curbing just a little bit too much? And yep, looks like to be the case.
A
little hot right there.
Hey, at least he didn't butt pack us. I feel good.
It feel good indeed right there. Close call. Gathers that back up and continues on his way. But of course, we talked to Justin a little bit, Bo, about the 2024 season of the Thunderclap series. That's happening in a couple of weeks' time. On the 21st is when y'all's season kicks off. Another great year ahead of you guys. What more could you tell us? He gave us a little bit of preview, but is there anything else that you could tell us more about the 2024 season?
Oh, well, look, you're holding the button on the guy that can talk for hours, especially about our Oval Series, or what I like to call Thunderclap proper. This is the exhibition series for fun. That's our proper series for the Ovals and for our high competitive drivers. So we have some really cool things coming this season, including our Cash Bash. Right now, we are working with 2 different companies on getting that sponsored completely. That's going to immediately give drivers an opportunity to win money each week for a 4-week period. That is very similar to the Dash for Cash that you see the Xfinity series. That will start essentially after our 5-week period in our series. And my baby that I'm very excited for is the RL Productions Bracket Challenge. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, once the Cash Bash is over, the following race will start the Bracket Challenge, where the top 32 in points will be entered into a bracket, and each week will go from 32 drivers to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 for a semifinal, and then crown that, or to 2 for a championship, and crown essentially the RL Productions mid-season bracket winner. And that's going to raise money as well for Connor's Cure, the charity that is our premier charity for the 2024 Thunderclap season. So we're going to raise money for them. We're also going to give prize money to the drivers in that bracket challenge. And it plays into kind of what Denny Hamlin was talking about on his podcast last year, doing something like a bracket challenge in NASCAR. And, you know, NASCAR is a laggard in a lot of cool ideas. We like to be on the forefront of ideas. That's why the 24 Beers of Daytona exists. That's why we do a lot of these crazy things that you see in Thunderclap, because you know what? We're going to give it a whirl. And if it doesn't work, at least somebody can use us as a placebo to see that it doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely, but I have to say, for everything that you guys have done, whether it be this year's events that you have planned or even the events that you've had last year, you certainly have done nothing but succeeded. You have a great group of drivers in your community to help build and grow, and bringing in some amazing talent to help come in and test, in a sense, have these drivers who come in test their might against them to see what it's like to race with some of the biggest names in the industry.
Well, and thank you for that. I mean, that is the whole goal of this. This started from the pandemic when I met a couple guys that were in the industry pit crewing on Xbox, and we were playing NASCAR Heat, and we said, well, hell, let's go to iRacing. And like, it's grown into this now where, I mean, hell, this event, I think we've got at least 4 countries, if not 5 represented. Over 20 states in the U.S. are in this event. And it really, like you said, it's just a great group of guys. People that care about the next guy getting fast. Obviously, when the race starts, all right, we're getting serious. Everybody's buckled in. We're going to take this for you. But in practice, anybody can shout out, hey, are you guys going down to 1? How are you treating the brakes and turns here? And everybody jumps up to help. It's a great group of positive individuals that care about raising money for the charities that we raise money for, care about throwing a few beers back, and care about making each other faster, better, and just better people overall, even out of the sim.
Now, another question as we're talking more about the series, is there still openings for people who want to try and be a part of the series or any other events that you may have, whether it be the Thunderclap series or even special events that you have planned for 2024?
Yes, so we actually do have just a few, and I'm talking probably less than a single handful of slots left for the Oval Series. That, again, that is starting right up on February 21st or whatever that, it is February 24th first for the qualifying event. So get those entries in quickly if you want to join, but we are very close to a full field. And what we have too in place of, in the event that there's more than a full field, we have the Best of the Rest Championship. There's a lot of different opportunities to get you into the league, but we're very close to being full. Now, as far as the exhibition series is concerned, where we are with the 24 beers, I think that's your fast track to getting into Thunderclap proper. Hop in here. There is no limit to the amount of guys for these events. Obviously, schedules kind of dictate who can do what, but for the exhibition series, we've got the 24 Beers of Daytona. In July, we'll have the Case Cracker 200. Chase Leahy is going to be putting on his own endurance event with the Miatas and Next Gens. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll kind of start this season over again with the La Corna Seca. We're going to have the Snowball Beer Brawl again. We're, of course, going to have the Turkey Trot to raise more money. That's where we raised over $1,000 this year in November. And a new one that we're very excited to have that we unfortunately didn't get to run this year will be the New Year's Resolution Eliminator, which will be an eliminator style race similar to those Burnout video games that we grew up on, where, you know, every couple laps we're DQing guys, and they so you got to be not in those positions to get DQ'd. So just a lot of fun stuff that guys can hop into, and this exhibition series is a great way to have those events and then try and get into our proper 2024 or 2025 Thunderclap season 2.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Looking forward to it. Bo, I mean, if you still want to, of course, stay up here while we watch the next 35 minutes left in our broadcast before we step aside and come back later on this evening for the next gen segment of the race, by all means, you're more than happy to, as we watch your car out on the track. Currently still in 10th, not the first car one lap down. He's now got to catch up to Tyler Jones and the Cho Up Racing Porsche in 9th position. So we got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, you know what? That's all good. I actually wanted to talk to you guys and see how you're feeling about these leaders, because I know that you've got kind of the tandem draft 24 hours strategy with the Fast Apple and or Apple Flap and the Applesauce teams here. And you can kind of see it working its way out right now with Adam Wright and Jasper Zanel.
Yeah, these two have actually. That is actually, if I remember correctly, Sammy DeGroot, who is behind the wheel now of Jasper Zanel's car.
Right, I forgot that Sammy is doing. Sammy and Jasper are doing in person, which is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. Those ones can be fun. Of course, can be confusing for the commentators sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's all gay. Trust me, it threw me off for a second until Jasper messaged me. He's like, I'm not in the car, actually. It's Sammy. So I'm like, okay, good to know. We'll come up here and talk about it. As we have a look at the replay here, let's see. We have issues with Damian Neeson, as he has an issue into the Le Mans chicane. Yes, it does. Hits the curb and kabloom.
You know, we saw a car do that on the first. Hey, look, there's Trooper. Look at him on the door.
There is Trooper right there on the door. Had a little bit of a wild ride.
Yeah, poor Troop. Poor Damien. I mean, that happens. All of a sudden, you'll feel really confident about how you're entering the bus stop. And once it starts on that path towards the tires, it's just call Jesus, because you're going to need help.
You're kind of hoping Jesus takes the wheel at this point before the race, before you get done and make contact with the wall. But as we pick up our race leader, Andrew Allen, in the Freedom United Motorsports Porsche, I've been having a little bit. Let's take a look and see how he took that top spot away as he works his way out of the International Horseshoe. He works his way and tries to find his opening out of the kink into the Western Horseshoe, looks to the inside, and that's about as textbook as you can get right there with making a pass for the race lead, even when you're sober.
No, that was beautiful. And I just got done talking about, how the Apples were doing that tandem draft type of tandem draft kind of strategy, and well, sure enough, he broke that up. They're back together now, but he's how you would say changed addresses.
Yes, he has. He has checked out 2.6 seconds ahead of the two Fast Apple machines as they head over towards turn 6 up onto the banking. You ride on board with Sammy DeGroot as they come out of turn 6 onto NASCAR 1 and 2. They're going to try to link up and try to chase down the fast-paced Porsche that is starting to pull away a little bit more as we ride on board and continue to see the amazing faces that are on that Ferrari as they come across the back straightaway heading into the Le Mans chicane.
Well, I just want to give a nice little shout out to the truck and all the camera angles that Darby and the team are putting together for this event. It looks absolutely awesome as I watch through the Discord right now. I mean, it looks like a pro job. You guys do a wonderful job broadcasting every single time. We're so glad to have you on for these exhibition events, as of course glad to have you on for the proper 2024 season.
We look forward to it as well. A lot of great things happening with Daytona events coming here for 2024 on Grid Vision. Of course, we have the Intimidator happening just about the same time the next gen cars come out on track later on tonight. So it's going to be a Daytona doubleheader on Saturday for us here before we come back to wrap up the 24 beers tomorrow afternoon with you guys in GTP. Then about a couple of weeks' time, we kick off Daytona Speedweeds with the Ryco Performance Monday night top split and Friday night top splits at Daytona.
That's awesome. I love seeing my phone vibrates every single time that there's a new Grid Vision race going on, and I'd be shocked that, there's so many times that I'm looking at my phone and I see, there's something else going on. Let me go watch that broadcast. I mean, you guys, I love the series that you guys cover. It's a wealth of knowledge in the racing field. I mean, there's you're always going to find a different type of track, a different type of car. I just love that you guys do all different series because it's not common for a lot of broadcasters, and that does not look like a fun time right there for Tyler Jones.
No, it doesn't. Tyler Jones tried to use the chrome horn a little bit by the looks of it on the back bumper of one of the Ferraris, but it did not go according to plan. I believe that might have been Michael Zuver in the Too Drunk to Drive number 96 Ferrari, which, of course, we talked about earlier on the broadcast. Ferrari taking home the top spot in the GTD Pro category in the actual Rolex 24 at Daytona a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Ferrari looked good, and there's not a lot of Ferraris in this field. We were curious to see how they would spread out when we decided to go to GT3, and kind of not shocking, according to Damien. You know, we've got primarily Porsches. I was hoping that we'd have a bigger spread, but you know what? I'm just glad that we're able to make the GT3s look so good, because last year with the GTEs, we felt fine. The GTs, you know, they're a little faster, but we got a lot of gripes about running the GTEs versus the GT3s. So it was nice that we were able to bring the GT3 this year, and honestly, it was it was a resounding yay when the regulars that run the 24 beers saw that we were doing the GT3s.
Well, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more mixed up when it comes to the GTPs tomorrow, as there is a good mix of the Porsche 963s, the BMWs, the Cadillacs, and the Acura. So that's going to be fun to watch tomorrow afternoon when we bring the conclusion of the broadcast on Grid Vision.
That 6-hour stint is going to be a lot of fun. That's when you're going to see things get really serious. You know, this first session is about settling in, having fun, kind of learning about the guys that you're on track with. Because although we have a lot of guys that have raced this event before or raced with each other in the proper Thunderclap League, there is a lot of guys that have not been on track together a lot. So it's kind of learning, all right, is he going to give me room? Is he not going to give me room? Do I need to kick his butt? Do I not need to kick his butt? And I think the next gen, bless Nick and Brandon, because they are going to have a hell of a time. Because about that time is going to be when a lot of these guys are finishing up their beers, and those next gens are a Benny Hill theme song around the track.
I believe it. I mean, the next gen cars, we were talking to Jonathan about it, they are so much more honed in for racing on road courses. And we were talking about how we wish that NASCAR would return to the road course at Daytona, because it just works for the most part. And, you know, granted, they made the smart decision to return to the oval at Indianapolis for the next gen car in 2024, but still, I think Daytona would still be the best road course, Roval style road course that should still stay on the NASCAR schedule.
You know, it's such an iconic road course within an iconic event, and it's rare that you can say that about two different, or say that about the same place, right? You know, yes, Charlotte has their own Roval, but I wouldn't give the Charlotte Roval its iconic status. It has had great races, but we're talking the Daytona 24 road course, right? I mean, that the Rolex, there's been so many wonderful events that have come through here. So much drama that has come. I mean, look at what happened this year with where the race is going to be over in 3 minutes. Just kidding, it's over right now. That kind of thing that IMSA had to deal with. And I would love to see the Cup Series go here. Problem is, if we're going to try and lobby it from an iRacing standpoint, the next gen is not very well suited for this road course track. It's very much a wild card, and it's a wild card for a reason, because this event is, we're going to throw wild cards at you. But I for whatever reason, that next gen, we're even ourselves using a custom, what we call a Garage 56 setup in it, because if you try and go out there with the fixed setups, you are going to have a bad time. So I would hope that iRacing eventually will make the road course more of a track that's visited, and because that's probably going to be something that can allow it to eventually become a mainstay back on the schedule.
And let's take a look on board with some drivers here. That's Chase Leahy, your driver out on track, having a little bit of close calls by the looks of it, as he had to avoid some drivers who were door to door as they headed off to the Western or the International Horseshoe, and then a couple of them sending it deep and then crossing back over. So Even though you're a lap down, you were able to get that position to where you're the first car 1 lap down. So Chase doing a great job to play keep away now from Tyler Jones.
Let's go, best friend. That's my best friend.
Absolutely great run as he now holds the 9th position. Meanwhile, the two Fast Apple machines, they're now 8 seconds behind Andrew Allen in the Freedom United Motorsports. Let's see what happened to Team Shake and Bake as they headed into the International Horseshoe. Did they do some synchronized spinning? Nope, they decided to change it up a little bit, maybe to see who's a little bit faster leading and who's faster pushing, as they will swap positions. Sammy DeGroot will take over while Wright will hold back and drop to 3rd.
That is impressive that they're able to coordinate that. I can only imagine that they're listening to classical music the entire time that they do it, because I don't know how else you would do that kind of thing.
As our producer is mentioning, it's the European style, and they will try to do that as we now have some mid-pack motorsports drivers coming down pit road. Kannapolis, North Carolina driver Anthony Burleson is now coming down.
I'm so happy to have Tony in this event too. We love Tony. Tony's a regular in the Thunderclap Oval Series. Love having him in this event. We've been trying to get him into the 24 beers here for a while, and he's on Clap's team, and they are a match made in heaven. They're both teammates. And did Clapper just got back in? Perfect.
Yes, he did. Yep,
right,
just
he's probably going to stove it in the tire walls right here. Watch out.
Watch out, as the commissioner of Thunderclap will be coming out onto the track. So we'll see what happens here. And, you know, I have to say, for next year, this will be an interesting idea. You know, we're waiting for the #soon rain update on iRacing. Do we have a feeling that maybe that we could get some showers, maybe beer showers, possibly, if you think about it, for the 2025 24 Beers of Daytona?
Well, let me tell you, depending on the time that iRacing sends out the rain and honestly kind of starts to perfect the rain, because you know the second that hits, there's going to be all types of problems. We're already having guys. I think that GPU stock is going to skyrocket because of this, because guys are going to have to upgrade their GPUs and upgrade their PCs to handle the visual constraints of the rain. I personally would love to see showers in the 2025 beers, but I'm not going to commit to anything yet. I would just do a old-fashioned wait and see on that.
Good enough for us here. Of course, we're waiting for that amazing update happening, hopefully in 2024. There is talks about it coming out, but we have to wait for the infamous #soon from iRacing on that matters, as Matthew Aaron gets behind the wheel of the number 93 Porsche once again. Pit stops happening once again for a couple of drivers. Andrew Allen, your race leader, coming down pit road in the Freedom United Motorsports machine as the Fast Apples take over the race lead.
Oh, very good. And they're still doing that nice tandem strategy. I mean, I hope that you're not trying to keep the cars apart, because you won't be able to with those schemes. At least they tend to come with these very fun design schemes, and this year they're nice and PG-13 for the broadcast, which is always the goal.
As we watch Josh Cole get behind the wheel of the Freedom United Motorsports. That's the first driver change for that number 76, as Greg McConey comes down on pit road in his BMW. Do we expect a driver change for him? And so far, no. He is going to stay in the car for the 126. Triple stinting this car indeed, by the looks of it. Possibly quad stinting it if he has to come down pit road again later on. Michael Zuber will move up to P3, so it is a Ferrari 1, 2, 3. Then you have the Audi of Charles Allen in the DNQ International Beers machine. Then Josh Cole in the Porsche. So 3 Italians and 2 Germans are now leading your top 5 at the moment. And of course, we saw some announcements, Bo, from IMSA and from iRacing, some possible works to some new GT3 to hopefully bring a little bit of an American flair, with the possibility of the Corvette GT3 and the Ford Mustang GT3 coming to iRacing in the future.
Yeah, so I am very excited for that. I would love to have the Corvette and the Mustang in here. Really, the main reason we ran the GTE last year was because it had that Corvette, and I'm be selfish, and I wanted to drive the Corvette, so that's what we did. this year, obviously, we're in GT3, so I really hope that they bring those to the game. Of course, then I worry that it's going to be 24 beers of Daytona, Europeans versus Americans, because I feel like it'll just be nothing but Corvettes, Mustangs, and then just some, a handful of European cars, just because I know how excited our guys that we run with in Thunderclap proper are for the Corvette and the Mustang, but there's a few that say, like, don't be so sure that Corvette's going to let them scan that card so soon.
I will have to have the wait and see approach, but still a lot of things exciting to happen as, one driver almost went a little bit wide right there. In fact, he
That's
did.
Fast Apples.
That is Apples. That is the fast. That was Adam Wright who went a little bit wide. That's going to open the door for Sammy DeGroot to take over the race lead. Let's take a look at the replay. It seems like just the tires did not want to make contact to the ground, and a little bit of wheel hop, and there it is. Slides up the track. And Sammy DeGroot will take over the race lead.
As much as those guys are touching the grass and dirt, I'm realizing that I got a little bit more track to work with over there in that West Horseshoe.
That certainly seems to be the case. Taking notes for your next stint later on tonight.
Yeah.
So as here comes Michael Zuver, who has been absolutely pretty much consistent from start to finish. Had a couple of close calls during his race so far, but he is one of the few drivers who's been in the car the longest. The only other driver who probably comes close is Greg McConey, as Anthony Harden now ends on the track with the number 93 Porsche, as he will work his way through. Currently, he sits 11th, 2 laps down. So right now, it's a battle of the administration and commission, as Chase Leahy and Justin Clapper are the only 2 cars 1 lap down. And you got a little bit of breathing room right now. You have about 23 seconds on Justin Clapper right now there for you, Bo.
Wouldn't have it any other way. No matter what, it seems like Clap and I and our teams always end up racing right next to each other. I want to talk a little bit about what just happened with the 93 car, because I know that Matthew Aaron went into the car on that 93. That is Thomas Aaron, who is a regular in the Thunderclap series. He had his brother come into this event. Looks like he may have been pulled from the car prematurely, and that's what got Anthony Harden in there. So sucks to see that for Matthew Aaron and Thomas Aaron's Cho Butt Up team, but glad to have them in the race nonetheless, and at least it didn't seem to end in a tire barrier.
Who are going to be some of the drivers that you're going to be watching going into the 2024 season? Of course, we have a lot of great drivers racing in the 24 beers, but when we are all sobered up, ready to go for 2024 Thunderclap Series, who are going to be the ones that we're going to have to watch when those tune in on Grid Vision in a couple of weeks?
Well, we just got done doing the Road to Thunderclap. I won't call it a series. It was just more of a couple weeks of recruitment races that we did. And there's a lot of new names that are coming into the series this year that I would be worried about. Obviously, you're going to have our mainstays like Ryan Truex. You're going to have Sean Bounty in there. And honestly, I'm a little biased here. Matt Cherry, who takes the jump from Next Level Motorsports and goes into DNQ Racing as our efforts to make DNQ Racing not stand for Did Not Qualify Racing, and just maintains that it does not quit racing. So I look for those drivers to do very well. But we got some other guys. Chase Albright stood out to me, and Robert Colgan, who won the actual Road to Thunderclap mini series of those recruitment races. There's a lot of new speed coming into this season, so I look for that opening qualify and duels night on Wednesday the 21st to be very telling, and who has new speed, essentially who practiced in the off season and who didn't.
As our producer mentioned, Jurassic is one of those drivers to keep an eye on, I have to say. And moving forward into 2024, as we have this great battle for the lead between the 2 Ferraris, Adam Wright and Michael Zuver are battling for that spot. Zuver goes to the top side of the racetrack, then decides to get into the tow. The 2 Ferraris will do battle. He lost his wingman, so Adam Wright now has to hope that his Ferrari wingman will try to work together with him, see if they can continue to pull away from the rest of the field as they head down the Daytona Superstretch into the Le Mans chicane. He's going to stay tucked up behind, and they will stay single file as they head up to NASCAR 3 and 4.
Yeah, these guys love racing with each other. They actually, I believe, are all from the first year of the 24 Beers of Daytona. So they are no strangers to this event. We always get excited when they come around, especially just asking the random questions about like, so wait, you guys can't get beer at every store, they ask us. And I'm like, well, no, like it's all based on the state. They're like, your state's like figure that out? I'm like, yeah, we can't just go get beer at like the Walmart in some places. They're like, that's ridiculous. Like just, but then they're like, oh, we also have robots that deliver our groceries. I'm like, what? It's not a thing.
Fair. It's like,
Yeah, European stuff,
Europe.
man.
You got to laugh at the Europeans when it comes to certain things that they do compared to what we have. Like you said, there's times here on especially tomorrow on Sunday, that there will be no alcohol served in some parts of the country.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So for those of you who are racing in the 24 beers, make sure you stock up tonight. So that way you are ready to go for tomorrow, as Nicholas Harding gets behind the wheel of the number 32 Fast Apple machine. And a couple of more drivers coming down pit road. Charles Allen in the DNQ International Beers machine will make his way to his pit box.
I love Charles having a clean race here. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Tell us more about Charles.
No, I love Charles having a clean race here. Charles is an absolute blast in all of our practice sessions. He is a part of that DNQ International team with Matt Hoyland. Matt Hoyland will actually be joining the Thunderclap season in 2024, the oval season. He's not going to be able to run a full season, but he's going to run as many events as he can. But, you know, considering our green flag time is like, I don't know, 5 a.m. his time, it's going to be a struggle for him. But he's coming over there in Sheffield, England, and I'm glad to have him run the DNQ banner this year.
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to have some international flair for you guys more often for the Thunderclap Oval season in 2024. As here comes Michael Zuver. He's going to continue to log a couple of more laps. 14 minutes left to go before we hit the 1 hour to go in order to complete stage 1 of the 2024 season. So a lot of things still to go and have happening here as they work their way out of turn at number 1. He comfortably has a 50-second lead over Josh Cole, as we'll take a look at a replay of an incident or a situation out on track. Jonathan Platt, well, he's looped it around a couple of times. He hasn't had to use a fast repair yet, but he decides to make that Porsche a little bit of a lawnmower. So they have used one fast repair so far. So he has used one of his two. Has trouble for your race leader, Michael Zuver. Goes off track a little bit, but gathers it back up, continues on his way.
It seems like that West Horseshoe's pulling a lot of guys out.
It's almost like there's a magnet over there pulling them up the track. Watch this right here. Comes up into the entrance, hits the brakes, looks to be fine, and then whoop, up to there, right into the grass, saves it. Absolutely right there, Bo.
Well, I'm glad that he gathered that up. I want you. Darby mentioned a little while ago Jordan Jurassic, and I actually do want to shout him out because he is a very talented oval driver in our series. And the reason I think that you're seeing McConey run essentially a quadruple stint here is because Jordan, I believe, is set up to run the entire next gen segment. Don't quote me on it, but I believe that is their plan. So McConey's running this GT3. Jordan will run all of the next gen, and it kind of makes sense. He has been able to put laps down that no one else has been able to touch in the next gen. I watch his laps and I just become immediately depressed. I don't know how he's able to get so much speed out of first gear, but that thing, it just grips to the racetrack and it is impressive.
Absolutely. As your race leader, Michael Zuver, heads down pit road, will he stay in the car or will he hand it off? Here comes Josh Cole in the Freedom United Motorsports Porsche, who could possibly take over the race lead. We'll have to wait and see. He's still up on the jacks in the Ferrari for Michael Zuver. It's going to be a matter of who is able to just get off the jacks and get across the line the quickest. Here comes Cole. He's at a turn 4, NASCAR turn 4 on the front straightaway. Zuver's off the jacks. They're filling it up right now with fuel. As we see Cole comes across the line. There's Zuver right there on screen. He will complete the pass, and Josh Cole will take over the race lead.
We've had a lot of passes for position come down to the green, and I think a lot of that is either based on guys having to use their fast repairs or just the fact that there's been I don't know if you guys see this, but it seems like the fuel is not the same for every car, just how hard they're pushing it or how they're saving, or if they've had to serve a penalty. You can gain a lot of extra laps by not pushing it hard. You're not seeing what you would see in a traditional oval race where guys need to come in almost all on the same lap. It seems like a lot of varying pit strategies right now.
Very varying pit strategies indeed. I'm looking over some of the laps certain drivers have been on. Some of them have been on as much as 27 laps, as Caden Lapsevich, your pole sitter, gets back out into the car of the 104. He's got some time to make up. But for Cole, he's been out on the track now for 6 laps for the first time. And looking over the field of drivers, we have 5 drivers who have not utilized a fast repair yet. And everyone else has used the most 5, which is currently by your TISM Motorsports team, Brandon Schumann, who have utilized 5 of their 10 fast repairs.
Poor Steve and Brandon. We call him Crossfire, but that's a story for another time.
We'll have to save that for later on, probably maybe tonight or tomorrow.
A late session conversation.
That is a it's going to be Grid Vision After Dark later tonight here on Grid Vision with the 24 Beers of Daytona as we pick up trouble for mid-pack. That is Justin Clapper.
R.I.P.
That is a big R.I.P. moment for Justin Clapper. We'll have to get a look at the replay here of what happened. So he comes in, heading off into turn 1. Did he miss his braking point? Survey says, get onto the brakes, and then got loose, and then boom, up and over on his roof. That's a hard impact.
We might have the Joker on board, but that is no joke.
No joke indeed here as we ride on board with Justin. He hits the brakes, the car gets loose, and then he just could not recover it quick enough, and then up and over on the roof. That's going to require a tow, and that's going to give you guys now the chance to be back on the lead lap, as now Chase Leahy is up to P7 for you guys.
These are things that I do like. Sorry, Clap, I feel terrible for you. You hate to see that. Holy moly. But it's true. Once these things step out, see ya. It's over.
It is.
It's so fun. You can feel like you have so much grip with these Michelins. They don't really wear. They're a wonderful tire for this track and for these cars. But God help you, if you step out, all of a sudden they just turn into cellophane.
Oh, actually, we just got word Sheldon Martin is behind the wheel of that number 63 911. Actually, it is not Justin Clapper, so must be another person at his place. Where he's racing.
Yeah, they're doing physical driver swaps too. So I think we in total have the Apple Sauce team of Jasper and Sammy, and then Clap's team, they're doing the physical changes. And the first year we did this event, I did physical changes with my friend Matthew and my father, and it was so fun to do physical driver changes because you got to get the feeling of hurry up, stand up, take your headset. Like you had a guy grab the headset, a guy, crawl out and do an army roll, and everybody else is you're putting all the buttons down. And it was a team effort to get that person back into the sim and roll the seat up the way that they want it to be just in time. So it's a lot of fun to do the physical ones compared to just pushing the button.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there is some drivers who work on a lot of things here for the virtual world, where we see some even of the major teams do physical driver changes sometime for certain events. If you remember not too long ago, there's even times where drivers had complications with their complete setup where they had to do a complete setup change in order to get back racing.
Yeah, I mean, it adds a whole nother flavor to the game. This is really right now the only team event that any of the Thunderclap series do. We're looking at increasing that just because we love the concept of putting a team together, all working together over a long period of time. We have Thunderclap teams in the real 24 hours that iRacing does, of course. but obviously that's not something that we ourselves are able to put on because that's iRacing does that. But we're looking at other ways that we can add events just because it is an absolute blast to do those driver changes.
It really is a great time, and kind of wish the only thing is when you do those physical driver changes that actually registers your driver name in there sometimes, which would help the broadcasters, I have to say sometimes. But hey, we're still figuring out. The teams are doing great jobs of letting us know who's in the car. As here we go, he's back out onto the track. It looks like to be the case now for Sheldon Martin, who now rejoins the circuit after utilizing that fast repair. And he now goes on as Chase Leahy is not in the car anymore. Justin White, the Scotland native, is now in the car.
Well, I guess he just didn't update his paper. So JW is actually over there in southeast Tennessee. He is our race control for the Thunderclap series, and he is Mr. Don't Play Games. Love having him on our team. That's the whole point, is we have this administration team so that at all times there is an admin outside of the car maintaining the race. And just looking at the math right now, I would be that admin because we're going to have to give Chase a little break. And looks like Colby had some issues. That sucks for him. Love having him back. I'm going to have to jump out, guys, and actually go oversee the race because right now I am the single admin that is outside of the car.
Well, that kind of works out because there's only 4 minutes left for us here on the broadcast before we step aside and then come back for stage 2 of the 2024 24 Beers of Daytona. So, Bo, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to having you back later on tonight with the next-gen cars and tomorrow with the GTPs.
Thank you so much, guys. Look forward to seeing you later this evening for the next gens. It's going to be an exciting last final hour here. I'll have a nice little recap for you of what happens here on the last lap for that broadcast. Appreciate everything that you're doing. So happy to be here and to chat with you for a little while.
That is Bo Condon, of course, out here racing with the administration team of RL Productions and Thunderclap as we continue to pick up the final 4 minutes here of the 2024 24 Beers of Daytona. Currently, right now, Josh Cole is your race leader. Let's give you a quick rundown through the field as we have these 3 minutes left to go. Second place right now is Fast Apple Flap Racing Team Nicholas Harding in his Ferrari 296. His teammate, of course, Sammy DeGroot, is behind the wheel in third position. Greg McConey still behind the wheel of his number 126 Beer Money Racing BMW. They have been able to make the biggest recovery after the start of the race. He sits in fourth. Former race leader Michael Zuver in his Ferrari 296 sits in the fifth position as he's currently trying to fight his way back up through the field. D&Q International Beers Racing Team of Matt Hoyland and, of course, Trooper on the side of the car, ready to go racing here. He sits in sixth position. Kaden Lapsevich back behind the wheel of the Light Beer Mafia team in seventh position right now, so he's got a little bit of work to do after he had the race lead. He is the last car on the lead lap. Justin White is now behind the wheel of the RL Productions Racing Audi as they work their way up onto the banking in eighth position. And then, of course, it is Sheldon Martin in the 911 Mid-Pack Motorsports machine. They just had a severe wreck happen, but they still have plenty of fast repairs to utilize to get them to the end of the race. Show Up Racing with Anthony Harden just now on the track. He was leading at one point. He now sits in 10th position, 2 laps down from your race leader. Colby Peterson in the Team Colby Motorsports machine is currently sitting in 11th outside the top 10, 2 laps down. They got a little bit of work to do. Let's see if they can recover going into stage 2. It's Alex Simakowski in the 12th position for the Team ARCS Misfits team. That Ferrari has had some better days, but has recovered as now they have gained 2 spots since the start of the race. Not a Rapper Audi of Damian Neeson sits in 13th. They are 4 laps down from your race leaders after having a great start to beginning. As trouble for the 92 machine of Sammy DeGroot. Trouble for him. He's going to lose a couple of spots. We'll take a look at a replay possibly of what happened. As he heading into the International Horseshoe, does he loop it around? Seems to be the case, and tough break as we're joined by Jonathan Platt right quick about his situation in the race. Jonathan, we just watched one of the Apple teams have a major issue coming out of the International Horseshoe. You just finished up your stint. How are you feeling? You only use one fast repair.
Yeah, I used one fast repair because somebody couldn't get off a pit road.
But hey, you said you would end up using two, so you have.
Hey, I did say that. I wrecked twice.
Yes, you did, but
on
you only.
my own, but once on a pit road we use a fast repair. Hey, that's fucking good for me.
Okay. Apologies for the language there momentarily, but we're still good to go here. Final thoughts, though, about this event. Caden's back in the car as we come to a close of our first stage of the broadcast.
Caden is, in fact, not in the car.
Caden is not in the car. Who's behind the wheel?
Zach Edwards.
Zach Edwards is behind the wheels. Thank you for that update.
Everybody here, so me and Caden live together, right? So
yes.
Everybody is at our house right now. We're having a big party for this race. Zach Edwards is in Caden's rig right now, and hell, looks like he's doing pretty good compared to me, so hopefully get some time back. But this next gen car you guys got coming up next at 9 o'clock, better watch out because we got some secrets here.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to seeing the secrets being revealed for you guys later on tonight. But we'll have to go and step aside. The final driver on the track is the Tism Motorsports, Brandon Schumann. 5 laps down. They have a lot of work to do going into the next gen race later on this evening. But for the entire Grid Vision team here, we will conclude our broadcast for this first stint. We're riding on board now with Josh Cole as he leads the charge in the Freedom United Motorsports. This is the first stage of the 24 Beers of Daytona, part of the Thunderclap Exhibition Series. I'm Taylor Burris. Our producer is Austin Derbyshire. We thank all of our guests that we've had here tonight, and we'll see you at 9 o'clock for the continuation of the 24 Beers of Daytona.